All right. Welcome back. Welcome, guys. Welcome back to Comfortably Uncomfortable. I am 1/3 of your host, C. Red. Sitting next to me is
Diva J.
Right across from me is
OG.
And we just want to welcome you back and thank you for tuning in with us. We apologize for keeping y'all so long. What has it been, about 3-4 weeks?
Yeah.
Too long.
Too long.
Yeah. We apologize, y'all.
Life.
Yeah, life things happen, but we're back here with you. You know what I mean? First, I want to say, y'all see me wearing the hat. Y'all know I ain't. you know I'm not even gonna go no further until we, congratulate them.
Yeah, I think we do need to get a toast.
A toast to the Braves. You know what I'm saying? Y'all Marlins ain't doing that, so y'all might as well come on.
If I understand correct, our Marlins got the same amount of rings I got in less than time. So we need to go any further. Okay. I rest my case.
Might not want to tell you that.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about this almost. I don't want to talk about that. Hey, I forgot about that.
You started though. You started.
Y'all came in and got y'all quick.
Yeah, beat y'all in the process.
Y'all did. I digress. Let me just celebrate what we got.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Be humble, my brother.
Stay there.
It's been since 95, man. You know what I mean? It's been since 95, bro. I've been thirsty for this.
Yeah, but congratulations, Braves.
Congratulations, y'all. We definitely.
Sorry, I couldn't party with y'all.
All the fans,
yes. Long day.
We thank y'all, man. And we're going to get one more toast. Y'all know how we like to start off. Peace and growth.
Peace and growth.
Yes, peace and growth. Hope y'all toasting as well. I know it's a weekday, but toast with us. Salute. All right. So before we get started, y'all know this show is brought to you by Circle Full Apparel. You can go to circlefulapparel.com to do all of your shopping. Definitely got some new items there. I don't know if y'all seen it, but Vigo just put this new tracksuit up, custom for OG here.
It's hot.
Hot.
Fire.
So, yes. Go there, do all your shopping there. Anything you need, definitely take care of you. Also, show is brought to you by Kreatively Yours Candles. Now, Kreatively Yours Candles is near and dear to all of us. I know we got a lot of new people that is watching. I don't know if y'all seen our Facebook page, but it done went up. Numbers went up a lot. So for the new people, Kreatively Yours Candles, you can actually go there, do your shopping. This is near and dear to us because this is the mother of Diva J. What is it? ESTY, I forgot to read. I'm sorry. ESTY shop. Kreatively Yours Candles. Facebook, Kreatively Yours Candles, and IG as well, Kreatively Yours Candles. Before we move on as well, business spotlight. This business spotlight, man, really is. I never even thought about this, OG, until you said this, but we was talking today, and I'm excited about this because this guy here, man, he really has been our #1 supporter. And I really want to just say thank you, man. This guy here is Jonathan Ashby.
Yes.
Ashby. Sorry about that. Jonathan Ashby.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you, man. And OG, you want to speak a little bit about what he does before I read this?
He holds a Thursday night ministry on Facebook Live, Zoom. I'm not sure if he has any other platform, maybe YouTube as well.
Don't cost nothing, right?
Man, it don't cost nothing.
Right.
Same way Jesus walked around preaching the word of God for free.
Right.
Same way my brother doing the same thing.
Right.
It's very informative. He breaks things down. But what I love about it, man, he gives it to you on a level to where you're able to receive it. And
this
some
is
people,
layman terms for
some people that preaches the word sometimes lose people.
Yeah.
And me to be able to on Thursday nights, right there with him, comprehending, last time. I mean, hey, send me all the stuff from the show.
So you're learning.
So I'm learning. And him and got another brother, Pastor Jay, where every morning, like again, these brothers. One thing I'm gonna say about ministry, just briefly, real quick. I think us as people, we look at pastors in a different light. And we tend to hold people that preach the word of God in a totally different realm. And for me, what I had to learn and understand that, yes, they preach the word of God, but they're human.
That's right.
So I don't look for the negative in someone.
Right.
What I look for is the heart,
Mm-hmm.
how pure it is.
Mm-hmm.
And me knowing John, trust me, that brother heart is pure.
Mm-hmm.
He does this from the bottom pits that's in his heart of pureness. Like, I'm telling you, this brother is pure.
This is just straight blood.
This is just straight blood. Like, if he can go around the world and just try to save souls, he'll do it for free. Like, seriously, do it for free. I go preach for free. You know what I'm saying? That's just him. And you guys free on Thursday. I'm gonna let C-Ray get into.
It shows here that It shows here he's the leader of the adult and youth ministry, and the church is and forgive me if I mispronounce this, but Berean, Berean Christian Church, and that's in Gwinnett. The pastor there looks like it's Dr. Kelvin B. Lee. But the Bible study that he's speaking of is on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. on Facebook Live and Zoom. And it's led by, like we said, Jonathan Ashby. And also, we'll put this in the description box, all of this information where you can just, I have a link right here as well. We'll put that link there so you can just click, get right there to it. Or you can just copy, paste it, save it for yourself. But the purpose to be a light in the midst of darkness, according to Matthew 5:13-14. As believers, we're the salt of the earth and the light of the world. So we're doing our part as ambassadors of Christ, sharing his good news in unity. We welcome all each week, as the word of God isn't a respecter of age. All right. So that is our business spotlight. Again, that's Jonathan Ashby. And again, we thank you for, just supporting us, and we definitely going to support you, my brother. So thank you again, man. So moving right along, we added a couple new segments to the show, and I think y'all enjoy it as well as we will. And the first segment is very simple. You guys may be familiar with it if you listen to other podcasts or talk shows or radio shows. It's called Walk It or Talk It. All right. So basically, what it is, I'm gonna give you a topic. It's probably gonna be a current event. Y'all can tell me either walk it, which means we're gonna go right past and go on to the next topic. Y'all can say talk it. And if y'all say talk it, we're going to go ahead and just give all the 10 cents on it, okay? Y'all ready? Y'all good? So, y'all too now. Participate. We got the comment section. Get in the comment section. So, the first topic on Walk It and Talk It, a new segment, the Travis Scott concert. Are we walking it or talking it?
We can talk it briefly.
That's a hot topic.
It's just briefly. Yeah.
I just want to say, I saw the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it feels like to be on stage performing. When you're on stage performing, I don't know on that level, but I know the level I've been on that's nowhere near thousands and thousands of people. I might have hit about 2,000. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? At his level, he don't know what's going on in the crowd.
You can't possibly know.
At all. So the way they treating him, that's just the messed up society we living in. Where we got a reason, especially a black man, those shots at him, they going to.
Take
and here's the background what Vigo was talking about, y'all. While he was performing in Houston in a music festival, 8 lives were lost. God rest the dead. But those 8 lives, it was confirmed that one was 14 years old, 16-year-old, 2 21-year-old, 2 23-year-old, a 27, and an unknown age. But it has been speculated that unknown age was a 10-year-old.
What is a 10-year-old doing at a Travis?
Oh, they got footage. If you go online and look at the footage, and y'all can check this out too. But they got somebody with like a 5 or 6-year-old on their neck. Yeah. So 17 other people were injured as well. But what I'm gonna say about it is, people are calling it a ritual or something like that. I remember growing up and seeing people pass out with Michael Jackson
all the time.
I don't get the stardom of that, to each his own, all that good stuff. But I just don't get how we can respect somebody, not respect, but idolize somebody that much and we don't know them. If anything, you should be idolizing somebody that raised you or put you in the position that you're in that much. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. I don't know if got any information on it, but
I mean, I'm with Vigo, really. I just think that entertainers who are in the limelight, very popular, they're just held to a higher standard.
Yeah.
And I just feel like they can't have any room for error, which is not fair. I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can just only imagine an entertainer on stage with lights, with music, with the crowd.
Trying to remember your verses and all that.
You got to think the thing in your ear. It's a lot going on.
It's a different zone too.
And and you are in the zone.
Because
you have to, just like when you get ready to step onto the court or a field
Same thing.
or whatever to sing. It's all the same. So I just think that. They're trying to point the finger at somebody. If I'm pointing the finger at somebody,
somebody got to take the fall.
I'll point the finger at people who's supposed to be patrolling
the
security and where's their take and all of that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because he on stage and all he knows is something happening, so he go to the back of the stage and do what he do. So it was reported that they didn't have enough people there,
security and all that,
EMTs or whatever.
Oh yeah,
and they weren't
because they're not anticipating,
right,
8 deaths,
right.
You know what I mean?
And they weren't able to handle all the things that were going on. So, but even though you read that, they're still trying to cancel Travis Scott's events and stuff he got going on. Then he on the Kim Kardashian show. This is like
he's married to the sister, I think, the younger sister of them. So yeah.
So it's just like what? Wait. So he's going to his whole life is about to turn upside down for something. He had no control. He had 50,000 people at his concert.
They're coining it a ritual, and like there is demonic.
That's speculation.
Exactly. And that goes into what Vigo's saying. Like we're gonna put these narratives on this, and we ain't gonna spend too much time on it. But
it's just unfortunate that they're pointing the finger at one person. And there was a whole bunch of other people that would be responsible for this
before it even gets to him.
This tragedy. Yeah. It's not fair. It's not right.
Oh, do you want to speak on this before we move on?
It's just beyond sickening, man. Y'all have no footage or no knowledge of this man in any cult activity.
None.
Right.
None.
Right.
How do you put that on him? Or his music as cult driven, or to say these people coming to see him because they're part of his cult. Where does this cult thing come in?
I don't know.
But they don't do that with the rock stars.
Yeah,
they idolize the demons.
And they have those symbols up.
Don't they have a movement called like the Gothic movement?
Yes.
Something like that?
Absolutely right.
Yes.
But
that's
again,
that's
trying to pin something similar like that on a musician that a black musician that just shouldn't. I don't see where you got it from.
They shouldn't put the
if
blame
a group
on
wants to
like
come to my concert and act in their cult way, how am I responsible for that? I ain't personally selling the ticket.
Right.
I ain't give them the ticket.
I didn't allow them in the venue. I didn't pat them down. I didn't hit them with the metal detector. None of that. Yeah.
So now the only way I will hold Travis Scott some form of accountability is not making sure that the people around him that secured the venue, the concert, did everything, didn't have adequate security. And that should be everyone's main focus.
But don't that fall on the venue, not Travis? Because the venue is who hired him.
I guess you're right. Management.
Management is who hired him. He's hired to do a job.
Yeah, but management still will fall back on him because he hired management.
Look at it this way. How many clubs you done heard of? You've been to a club and somebody got to shooting or fighting in the club. You talk about a couple hundred people with security can't manage.
That's true.
You're right.
So how much security would you need for thousands of people?
Oh, you need a lot.
No matter what's going on, there's going to be an area where somebody can't,
move or whatever.
Yeah. Well,
you need a lot.
Travis Scott, God bless you, brother. We hope you get through this,
and
man.
The families.
Yeah, man, your families and everybody. Because I know what people don't realize, man. And I think I'm gonna say this before we move on to the next topic. That man, when you got an artist of that magnitude, there's so many families he's affecting and feeding.
Yeah.
That's in his camp. So for you to, and the same way with the baby and all that, when you get to a level like that, you're changing lives. When you drop an album, like I think Tip said it way back in the day, he was like, man, when I drop an album, people eat. Families eat. So I just want people to keep that in mind when you throw all these type of narratives out about these people, man. So Travis Scott, God bless you, man. Hope you get through it. All right. Next topic, Kanye West opens up on the Drink Champs podcast. Are we walking that? Or are we talking that?
Talking.
Well, I ain't talking because I didn't hear it, so I can't.
Well, we're gonna learn you something.
Y'all can talk because I didn't see that.
Because I want to talk
briefly.
that.
Briefly, man. Just like he had Jay-Z comment.
Mm-hmm.
He had Beanie Siegel, Soulja Boy, a few other people. Not many people can get that many big individuals to come and just speak their mind, just speaking his truth.
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z said it. Everyone has their own truth. Some things he might have said, he might have went left, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like what he put out into the universe on that show was needed.
Well, all you can ask for is honesty. And I'm gonna say this. In case for the people, I have to be, have to act like people don't know about this. So, I'm gonna give them a little background. So, what we're talking about, Kanye West did a interview on a popular urban podcast called Drink Champs. It comes on Revolt channel on cable. But he opened up and he addresses a lot of issues and topics that we've spoke about over the years. I mean, he talked about any and everything you can think about. He shows his business mind frame. He shows his spiritual mind frame. And I just want to know, did it alter y'all's perspective of him, or did it alter yours?
It altered mine big time because
Elaborate, please.
For a minute, I was calling the brother crazy.
Everybody was.
Something wrong with Kanye.
He talked about the hat and everything.
Yes. Even before I saw the Drink Champs, I saw the pictures of him at the Drink Champ.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
with the boy with the hair, he just took clippers and just did this.
They talked about that.
I'm a barber, y'all, so y'all know that already sent me left.
You couldn't even come what he was saying. You were like,
as soon as I saw it, I said, this dude is gone for real.
Come see me.
All jokes aside. But I said, I'm going to give it a shot.
Yep.
And I listened to it. And what I would say, Kanye is very different.
He's a genius.
He's very different to where he has a very genius side and he has another misunderstood side. And I think the battle Kanye fights is he tries to get everyone to understand his misunderstood side.
Everybody to like him.
Yeah, but the problem is, and this is the problem I have with people like Kanye that are big. This is the problem I have with them and with the people they surround themselves with. See, we as people can't get to a point where we're so big that we just surround ourselves with yes men.
Can't do that, yeah.
Because when we surround ourselves with yes men, we never take the time out to see what we're saying wrong or what we're doing wrong.
You're not getting correct.
You're not getting corrected.
Yeah, you never.
So when I listen to the Drink Champs, man, Kanye said, excuse me, America, I really shouldn't cuss, but I have to.
Go ahead.
Kanye says some of the realest shit on that podcast.
You did.
I'm like, for real. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it.
And that's subjective because what you're talking about, the realest shit, I could be talking about something.
Yes.
But that just goes to show you it was a wonderful 2-hour interview.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Now he did go left. But this is what I come to understand as I sat down and I processed everything. When someone is talking whatever, talking something, if he's talking spiritual, or if he's talking something of the world, the average Joe that is not on it can't receive it nor can understand it. So we depict it as he crazy, something wrong. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
so
then
for
we talked about that.
We did.
We talked about that.
So for me, when I listened to it, I'm gonna say damn near 100% that he was talking about, I'm on. So I was able to maneuver through it. But I get to where it loses people. Because sometimes Kanye will be talking something, he'll venture off, come back, venture off again, and he'll lose you. But see, for me, that takes the people around him and be like, Kanye, listen, brother, what you talking is great. But we just got to work you on staying on topic or staying on what you're saying. So like for me, just to touch and I'm be done with it, Kanye's worth $9 billion. Did you know that?
No, did not.
Kanye's apparently worth $9 billion. This man said 2 things and I'm done. This man said, I'm looking for Beanie Siegel. He said, I owe Beanie. He said, I owe Beanie.
That 50 piece.
Told Beanie, and no one in the world knew this. He didn't have to even share this to us. But that just give you how real he was on this show. He said, man, I owe 50. He said, nobody know. Beanie. He said, nobody know. Beanie Signal's the one that gave me the name Yeezy.
Wow.
Guess how much he said he gonna give him?
He told Beanie, he said, man, I've been trying to find Beanie. You told Nori, man, hold Beanie, hook it up. I owe him. This man told me, I promise you, I'm gonna give you 50 million and 5% of the Yeezy stocks.
Wow.
Just change that man's life.
Just change that man's life overnight. Just because of a name he gave him, which I commend Kanye because the average person would do it. And then for him to acknowledge that, listen, these Yeezys wouldn't have been nothing if you didn't give me the name Yeezy. Now, the most realest thing I heard Kanye say, and I bet you this flew across a whole lot of people's head, and a lot of people, I bet you they said, oh, this nigga retarded. I promise you. But the realest thing he said, Kanye say, you know, I'm working my way to trillionaire status. I want to be a trillionaire. This man said, how I see it, the only way for me to become a trillionaire is I have to put myself on the stock market. Let that sizzle in your spirit for a minute. Because if you digest it the way I digested it, it's going to make you say, then you're going to have to understand it. Because what Kanye said, say it again.
He's a brand.
The brand for him is not Yeezy. The brand is Kanye West.
And if you look at it, his stock himself, all the shit he went through, never went down.
Never went down.
Never.
It only went up.
That's what I'm about to say. And I'm going to say this before we move on to the
never went down.
We're going to move on to the topic.
Yeah, we're going to move on.
To the topic.
We are.
Gotta keep y'all keep y'all level.
We only about 15 minutes in.
No.
But
sounds good. Minutes.
No, but you can't go off that. Remember that was up before. We gotta go on to YouTube.
Okay,
let's go.
But anyway, I was just gonna say this real quick about Kanye.
I could have sworn I was. I thought I knew what was going on.
Look at him get his point.
You remember when you were saying about Kanye about him going left? The reason he's one of these topics is because he goes left. That's a strategic thing that he does.
Yes.
I don't think that's why he's going back to what you were saying about his people telling him that. His people not going to tell him that because when he goes left, that is nothing but clickbait. You know what I mean? That's all it is. And whether it's good or bad, it keeps him relevant. We cannot argue with any of his strategies.
I get his strategy, but for me, I think it's more or less, if you're trying to get people to hear you, then you got to get people to comprehend you. So you got to speak in a way for people to articulate in ways for people to comprehend you, to understand.
That's true.
So when you do go left, you lose people. That's when people in return call you crazy and they don't receive your message.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's why I'm saying he needs to have people around him to like, Kanye, listen, I don't care if you got to write it out.
It's not going to happen.
And I know it's not.
That's why his music is so great and what he does is so great. It's people that's creative. You know what I'm saying? They can show you better than they can tell you.
That's true.
All right, well.
Creative people you can't put in a box.
Right. Go watch that interview if y'all got any perspective on, I mean, if you like his music, whatever, go watch the interview. It'll enlighten you. I promise you it will. All right, so moving right along. Since they make a move, I guess I can't do my next segment. We're going to go right on into the topic.
Yeah, bring it back.
The topic is, guys, basically, if you saw our last show, which was the live show, we did a topic which was on narcissism. Narcissism basically is something that I think, in my opinion, it's a word that we overuse anyway. We don't know the definition, and that's why we're going to recap today on the topic narcissism. So today's topic is narcissism part 2. And I'll just say this, I think it was a couple of things that we did not come to I guess you can say, a common ground on. And one of them was, the most important to me was, me and OG were saying that there is some positives that can come out of narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
You and John, our good friend Jonathan, Ashby, he was saying as well, like you were saying, there's nothing positive about narcissism. So I think that's something we need to address. That's something we need to talk about. And guys, we need your help as well. Please, comment section, you know, any questions you got, anything you need to add to this, because I'm at a point now where I'm just lost. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is there's no clarity kind of in it, because it's like we're both right. But I look at, like I told you, I guess it comes down to if you look at the glass half full or half empty. I guess that's what it comes down to. So, OG, do y'all want to elaborate on that? Because, like I told you, I'm confused. I am. I don't know, like, what direction to go in, because I feel you, Dave. It's like when somebody is on that level, it's nothing but, in order, you've been teaching, what, 18 years, you say?
17. 17?
There's no way you could have, you can't be in a career that long and be that successful for that many years without having some type of characteristics of narcissism.
What?
You can't.
What?
And the reason, because you were obsessed.
I'm gonna need you to explain that.
Yes, because
I am nowhere
y'all just had a perfect example.
No, think about it. No, think about it.
Use what you just said about Kanye, for him to be a tree in there.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing, people. You were obsessed. You cared about your appearance at work. You cared about your teaching ability. You cared about what you put out there as far as your teaching. I'm pretty sure I got teachers in my family. Y'all get evaluated. So when you got evaluated, you cared enough to do this for 17 straight years. There's no way you went in there half-assing it. Excuse my language. You were obsessed to a certain extent. Now, like OG was saying, there are categories to it now, but you were obsessed with your job, or your career, I should say, to a certain extent that you have got 17 years out of that job, out of that career. And
so everybody who goes to work and does their job to the best of their ability.
Everybody does great at their job.
Okay, we'll use that. We'll use great. Does not have narcissistic behaviors.
Characteristics.
That either. If you're a professional, when you step into your job every single day, you are a professional, period. There's nothing narcissistic about doing your job to the best of your ability. That's just being a professional. How can you say that a person has narcissistic characteristics because they're doing their job?
Because you're obsessed with the appearance of the way you look doing your job.
That's not true.
So that's not why you put the time in to make sure that when you get up there in front of your students, you articulate to the way they can understand. You don't just go home and write your lesson plans and be like, oh, I'll finish that later. You don't write your lesson plans and be like, oh, I hope that come across to the kids. You write your lesson plans and say,
project that you do at any job, but it's not an obsession.
But everybody doesn't do their job to that level, Diva. Nobody does. Everybody doesn't, because everybody's not great at what they do. You don't get
them a narcissist.
You have characteristics. Remember, we talked about that. NPD, narcissistic personality disorder.
Yes.
Is when it becomes a life-altering issue.
Right.
The narcissistic characteristics are simply just that. It doesn't have anything to do with NPD. And that's why I think that was the second thing I was going to mention. We're getting confused, the characteristics of narcissism versus the NPD. Remember, I said the NPD is a sickness. So I think that's where you're getting confused at, because what I'm saying about narcissism is not negative. I'm saying that you have something in you that made you choose a career that you got 17 years out of. And all I'm saying is that you didn't coast your way to that 17 years. You can coast your way 2-3 years in a career, but you can't coast your way to a decade, 2 decades. And all I'm saying is that you had to have something in you that was an obsession about your appearance to not only your students, your peers. And that's okay, is what me and OG is saying. That is it's perfectly okay. There's nothing negative about that.
Can I say something really quick?
Yes, sir.
DJ, wasn't you did you win an award, or was you up for Teacher of the Year? Or
I won one.
You won Teacher of the Year?
Not Teacher of the Year.
Teacher of the what?
No, it was a recognition that they have in the county. Only certain teachers get nominated for and receive from the superintendent. So it's like the highest award you get.
Say it again, the highest?
Yes.
Okay.
Highest.
So let me ask you a question. Do you take your teaching career serious?
Of course.
So what C. Red is saying, by you taking your teaching career serious, that is prominent for you. That you, unbeknownst to yourself, displays some positive narcissistic trait, tendencies, however you want to call it. See, what he's trying to explain to you is, and what I tried to explain to you the last show, you can't keep looking at the word narcissist as negative all the time, because it's not. That's why I kept reiterating the last show, you have productive and unproductive. Your narcissism is positive because you use it for positive. It's not negative. NPD is negative. Like he said, you have a sickness. You actually have to go seek help. You can't fix that unless you go seek help. So I guess what Rizzo's trying to explain to you is, don't always look at the word narcissist or narcissism in that negative light, because it's not always in that negative light. It is not.
It's unit. It could be used both ways. That's why I said I'm torn between the two, because you and John make great points, and y'all are exactly right.
He's in the building right now.
Yeah, y'all made great points.
Help me out. Help me out, because they don't know what they talking about.
Talk to us, John. But that's what I'm saying.
You can. Anytime you look up that word, any search engine, it's not going to be associated with positivity ever.
Okay.
Ever. So
you got the definition right.
For you to say that because I've been doing what I've been doing for so long and got all that good stuff, that's great, but it's not an obsession. It's the passion I have for the love of students.
Isn't that a thin line? Passion and obsession, that's a thin line.
No, I beg to differ on that. It's not a thin line. When you're obsessed, something's wrong.
But that's what I'm saying.
Something's wrong. When you have an obsession,
I could be obsessed with painting. That's what I'm saying.
Come on now. When you are
I was obsessed with playing basketball.
Look up obsessed.
I was obsessed with playing basketball.
Look up the definition of obsessed. Look it up. Obsession is not a good thing. Passion is a good thing. If you're an artist, you have a passion for drawing. You have a passion for the love of the arts. It's a passion. You can still function and do other things.
So if I'm obsessed with
obsession, reminds me of the movie You on Netflix. He has an obsession with women. He locks in on one and he follows them and he figure out what they do all the time.
You look at the light.
That's not positive. But I'm just saying, an obsession is when you cannot function. That obsession controls every aspect of your life. Teaching does not control every aspect of my life. When I clock out, I clock out.
Okay, I'm gonna read the definition then.
What does it mean?
It says an idea. The state of being. This is the first. It says the state of being obsessed with someone or something. Then it says an idea or thought that continually preoccupies or intrudes on a person's mind.
Intrudes.
But what is negative about that?
Preoccupies.
What is negative about that?
So you can't, if you're obsessed, you are not going to be able to function without that.
Read the definition again.
Listen
I heard the definition.
No, read the second part again. Listen to what he says.
But let me say this though. Let me just say this, because we gave a definition about Kobe, rest in peace, Kobe. We gave a definition about how great he was. And if you watch his documentaries and things, he tells you, that he's a narcissist when it comes to basketball.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that is nothing negative about it. He missed. Now, what's negative about it is the times that he missed with his daughter, the times he didn't get to tuck her in, things like that.
Obsession.
But his obsession got him to a status to where they ain't got to worry about. And I know we shouldn't be talking because he's deceased now, but you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. He worked so hard, and his obsession got. And so the point I'm getting at is, and what OG is saying is, yes, you're right. That's why I'm torn. But if I take that obsession and I utilize it in a positive way, I can eventually be great at something and possibly take care of my family for generations. Is what I'm saying.
But can you buy time?
You can't buy time.
Right.
That's why I said I'm torn.
So I'm not taking nothing away from his greatness, but at what expense? That obsession is going to cost you something.
It is.
So it cost him that time. It cost him whatever family time he wanted.
You're right. You're exactly
whatever years he missed. An obsession is not a good thing. You can't be obsessed with something. I'm not obsessed with teaching.
Let me ask you something. Can I ask you something?
No. Yeah, you can.
Okay. I'm not trying to make it 3 against 1.
No, go ahead.
We
gotta discuss this. Yeah,
I'm there.
I need to know.
When you hear the word narcissism, do you think of someone?
No, not in particular.
But can you relate like firsthand, like a one-on-one?
Absolutely.
That's where the root of your feelings are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
It's that experience.
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you this. You're a mother.
Mm-hmm.
You're a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
You have to give a lot of yourself to others.
Right.
Do you feel like there's times where you deserve just time for you?
Yeah.
That's selfishness.
Everybody should be selfish at some point.
Exactly.
Everybody should be
exactly.
selfish.
So hold on.
Everybody should be selfish.
Exactly. That's my point.
So it should be selfish and self-centered at some point,
Not
right?
self-centered.
That's the same.
Everybody
thing.
should take time for themselves and be selfish
Good.
because
You need
you
to
need your you time.
category.
You need your you time.
It's in the same category.
What's the same category?
Of being obsessive for yourself,
to make sure
making it about you.
Some people
You
take.
should make it about you at some point.
But that's a characteristic
Whether
of
it's going on a trip by yourself, whether it's going to movies by yourself.
That's the positive of narcissism.
But listen to what he's saying. Here's the difference. You being self-centered, which everyone in this world has the right to be self-centered, right?
At some point.
So at some point, you take your time to be self-centered. You know how to take that time. Okay, this is my time to be self-centered. Boom, I can move on.
Okay.
That's still having some form of narcissism. When you're NPD, you don't never come out of that realm. You stay self within you.
And it comes before
That's when
everybody else.
Thank you. That's when it's a sickness. That's why we're trying to explain to you the difference. See, I ain't gonna say you can't compare, but NPD sets to the side by itself than narcissist. Because a narcissist doesn't necessarily mean that someone is bad or someone is beyond sick to where they got a treatment, medicine, and they can work through that because it's minute. Mm-hmm. When you got NPD, no, you got to really seek help. So there's a difference to where, like you say, everyone's self-centered. You got your moments where you want to think of, okay, it's about me now. You got your moments, it's about me. He got it. Everybody in the world got that. But it's to what degree? Mm-hmm. So that's why I was just saying, we all four have some form of narcissistic tendencies, trait, whatever you want to call it. But it only turns to sickness when it becomes detrimental.
Like parents.
Mm-hmm.
We're good parents. But we take the time to ourselves, you know what I'm saying? But we still there for our kids. Versus a deadbeat. Now that's the negative narcissism.
Right.
You know, so that's
there's pros, again, there's good and bad in everything. We gotta always remember that.
Absolutely.
Okay, what it is.
That's exactly what we're saying.
There's good and bad in everything. So there are a lot of people who are extreme. And I'm going to use the word negative. I ain't going to say bad. They're just extreme negative narcissists. Just Donald Trump, for instance. We're going to use, because he had the platform, the biggest platform in the world. You got to experience that is complete negative narcissism. Like, it was on display. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But then, like C-Red tried to point out with Kobe, you got to see some form of positive. And the reason why I call it positive, because his narcissism was a work ethic. Mm-hmm. His work ethic to be great made him a narcissist in basketball, because he understood, in order for me to be great in this field that I'm in, I got to be some form of a narcissist. Mm-hmm. People that are millionaires, naturally being millionaires, what I mean by they bust their behind.
Yeah.
Millionaires. Not inheritance. I'm going to say a couple of 100,000 millionaires, billionaires, trust me. you have formed some form of narcissistic behavior. Some could be good, some could be bad. When you are an entrepreneur, you have narcissism, whether it's good or bad, but you have it. And then some displays it to where it's negative because some say, F everything else, this is what I'm about over here, and they blow everything up. That's negative. Some got it to where they can maneuver through family and work, but they in the work, they know this is how I eat. So when I'm at work, I'm so indulged in work because I want to be great at what I do. But that's a positive narcissism. As long as they can control it where it don't affect the household to a certain point, it's a positive narcissism.
Same thing how I'm pretty sure it's been nights or days where you've been in your classroom and you was like, you have been working hard on your lesson plans or whatever, you had something to get done, you had a deadline or something, and you just thought about it, just clicked, and you were like, you know what? I'll finish this later. Let me get home with my kid. So that's what OG's saying. Like it's you before that point, before that clicked, you was in that mode. Like, you know what? I got to get this done. Because like he gave the example about COVID. You walked into your school, I'm pretty sure you've seen over your 17 years, you got some teachers that are there just going through the motions, just trying to get the check. And you got some that are just basically, it's the same thing in any profession. Kobe looked out there and he seen guys that just got, like Kobe said, you just come in here, I've been here for an hour or two. You just now getting to practice 15 minutes before time. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you got a routine. And you look at teachers that get there running in, rushing out of you like, girl or dude, you just don't understand. So that's what I'm saying. You wanted to separate yourself. And that's all I'm saying about that part. Like, it's a point where, and you're going to, everything is a sacrifice. I just seen some T.D. Jakes said about a man when he was talking about a man making sacrifices about going out, being a breadwinner and all that type of stuff. You're going to sacrifice time with your family and all that. It's the same thing if you're going to choose a career, a demanding career, and your career is demanding. You've affected, I'm pretty sure at this point, thousands of lives that are grown now, you know what I'm saying, with babies, probably going, married. You know what I'm saying, married, yeah. So that's all I'm saying. Like it. And I want to go back to what Vigo said and ask you this. When you think about it, is it just relationship based that you're thinking, or are you thinking about it like narcissism from a standpoint like, okay, I can apply this to anything in life, not just relationships. Like, so are you thinking about it just in the relationships realm when we talk about narcissism? Because I'm outside of that. Like, of course, like I told you, you and John is a narcissism in his relationship, but look what it did for his wife. You know what I'm saying? Look how reassured she is and all that. So do you just use it in that realm? You have just used it in that realm? So you have not thought about narcissism outside of relationships. See, that's why I think that's what the line is too, because me and OG are talking about outside of relationships and bringing it back to the relationship. Remember I said with John, I was like, look, bro, you know how many women would kill to have you? Like to, you know, be up, not, and I don't want to use the word obsessed no more because you're right about that. Passionate. You know how many women would want their man to be just as passionate about their relationship. So, and he's a narc, and she said it. She told him he's a narc. So
he agrees.
Yeah. So all I'm saying, I think my point is like OG said, we can use it in a negative or a positive, and that's why I was so torn. But I'm always going to look at the glass half full. Always.
So let me read this. It says, someone who is a narcissist may be selfish in some areas of their life, but not disordered.
Exactly what we're talking about.
An example would be if someone was very vain about their body and consistently, you don't like to use the word obsessed, but it's what I got down here, obsessed about their looks and seeking approval for their appearance. This may not be MPD. This may just stem from somewhat childhood or adolescent insecurity.
And that's what I was going to say.
Well,
it always stems from somewhere. Like Kobe, right?
Well, let me say this.
Kobe's come from his relationship with his parents. That made him want to go hard. Right. And like me, just as, you know, it comes from a relative.
Right.
So I had to put it in a positive light. It made me want to go hard. And like OG said last time, circle full is a narcissistic.
Yeah.
He had it right because someone told me, it was like, yo, I want you to come be head of fashion for my company. I'm like, all right. And I thought about it. Nah, I'm straight. I'm the head of my own. You know what I'm saying? Why would I come and do that? Like, I had to be selfish in order to get where I'm at now. If I was over there, a lot of these ideas, everything would have been, you know, so.
So I'm going to say this. You heard all our little mansplaining. We've done all the mansplaining.
Break it down for us.
DJ talked to us, and because I know it's like, you're here to represent the women and give them the voice as well. And I know you got some things that you got as well. I want you to just, because enlighten us, because if we have to agree to disagree on this, that's cool too, because that's what this show is for.
Hit that finger one
time. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Talk to that finger up there, you know.
Yeah, or that clap.
Yeah.
I really didn't think about it from that perspective. I still can't wrap my mind around the positive. I just can't because my initial experience with narcissism was in a relationship. So I can't wrap my mind around anything positive in terms of that. Like what I have here is sometimes you don't know that what you're experiencing in a relationship with someone who's a narcissist is mental abuse.
That is a great point.
It's mental and it's emotional abuse. And a lot of time, I know for me, you associate the things that's going on in the relationship as love. And it could be because you didn't receive the love growing up in your household, specifically from your father. So we draw ourselves to men who are going to give us what we're lacking.
We'll talk about that.
Right. But in that relationship, when you're getting those things that you're lacking, it's not necessarily a good thing. Because they're only giving you what you need to benefit them, and to gain control.
Yep, and they usually see it from a mile away, so that's why they prey on women like that as well. And men know who they are. Like us men in our circles, we talk down on those type of men because, you know, here we are, you know, I'm not saying men are angels, but you got some men out there that just use that to their advantage. And that's how they get their women. And it's plain and simple. We'll see a guy and just sit like, yeah, I already know what time it is with that.
Yeah. Yep. And it's a lot of different tactics that they use. Narcissistic mental abuse, rage. And this is when the anger comes out of nowhere. I remember experiencing when I wanted to go out with my friends, something I don't normally do, especially being married, of course. And something would just spark out of nowhere. It could be something that in the kitchen wasn't looking right, or something in the room wasn't right.
Just because you about to go out.
Just because I'm getting dressed to go somewhere without him. Because believe it or not, narcissistic men want you with them 100% of the time.
Well, let's say this: if you look at the studies, most of them narcissistic. Who's affected by it most? Men. Women usually, you're nurturers. It's hard for y'all to get into this realm. We got egos and all that type of stuff. So if you go do your research on this, most of the narcissism comes within men. So I just want to point that out when you said that.
Yeah, but it's true. Yeah. They want to keep you all to themselves. There's no friends. There's no girls trip. None of that. Yep. Anything that you want to do for yourself, they have to include themselves.
And you need to run from him.
Right. Because when you see that anger come out of nowhere, like, well, we was just kissing 5 minutes ago. What happened? Because you're about to leave them.
Could have just gave him something.
You're about to leave them, but you're about to do something that you want to do. It does not involve them. Gaslighting. When they lie about the past, and I used to hate this, making their victim doubt their memory. And it's funny because
hold on. Say that again. We're not gonna just skip over that.
I want to finish. I was only elaborating. They make their victim doubt.
No, I'm saying go over that again.
Okay, so gaslighting.
Be with you on this.
Gaslighting is when mental abusers, they lie about their past the past that y'all have together,
Mm-hmm.
and they make their victim doubt their memory, perception, and sanity. And like I said,
never heard anything like that. Never.
I can relate.
Wow.
It's times when you get into a conversation or argument, and they'll be like, "Oh, you said da da da." Huh? I don't remember saying that. You did. What? So they make you doubt yourself, doubt what you said, doubt what you thought you remembered, but they make it seem like it's so accurate. Like,
to benefit them.
Yes, it's so accurate. They make you feel like what you're saying is not important. What you're saying doesn't make any sense even. And they'll even use the words like, something wrong? Like, are you crazy? Like, is something wrong with your memory or something? So am I the only one who have sense? Am I the only one who have sense in the relationship? Like, those are actual words coming out of their mouths. Like, for real.
But did this start to deprogram you? Because I know you love this person.
It does deprogram you.
Was involved, so
yeah,
that's why.
Because over time, even when you get into the relationship, you're one way, right? And over time, that starts to just eat at you, and then you start to just think that what they're saying is right.
Right, yeah.
Because you think they love you. This person wouldn't do this to me. This is my husband. This is my spouse. They love me.
And he's keeping you away from everybody.
Right.
So you're not getting.
So you're not getting no outside advice, family advice, nothing. No. All you're listening to is this in your ear. And over time, you start to believe that what they're saying is true. Wow. So you do doubt your memory. You do doubt your sanity. You do. That's what they do.
God bless every woman that going through that, man.
Yeah, like. You even question what you said 5 minutes ago. You could be in an argument and they'll say so much stuff and lie and go back and repeat something a different way. You're like, wait a minute, did I just say that? I'm talking about 5 minutes ago.
And he's doing
5 minutes ago. You're doubting what you said 5 minutes ago because of what they just twisted your words and said in an argument, a live argument.
And it's not benefiting anyone.
No.
That the motives that he had, I just don't understand why a man would go through something like that. But
silent treatment. Silent treatment. And then they demand an apology from the victim when they're not even to blame. Like they turn it around on the other person, and then you're telling them how you feel about what they said or did, but then you end up apologizing.
Absolutely.
Why am I apologizing? I'm on the problem. I'm on the problem with you. Yeah. I have an issue with you, and then
I'm sorry for making you mad.
Right.
I'm sorry.
You make me feel so bad. I'll apologize to you. Wait a minute.
I'm sorry for making you feel that way. Like what? Like
I'm so confused. Wait a minute. That's not how this conversation was supposed to go.
Yes.
I guess the shutting down is one of my narcissistic traits.
Yeah.
Mine too.
I'm quick to shut down.
Me too.
Like if I see it going left, man.
Me too, man. Me too. And I don't know if that's a form of running, but now that you're reading that, I see that what it is. It's a characteristic of narcissism. And now, what I'm not going to do is demand an apology, though.
No,
well, it's a way to modify the other person's behavior.
Yeah.
Because if you modify their behavior, then that's another part of controlling the outcome. You control the outcome if you modify their behavior.
I get what you're saying, but I guess for me with the shutting down, it's more or less of
you're not answering you answering phone calls and stuff. You're not disappearing.
It depends.
Yeah.
I guess for me, I gotta keep 100. I guess for me, it's more of putting a little water on the fire. Because once I feel the situation has escalated to where both parties yelling, nobody is listening, why are we continue to talk?
That is a fact, though.
You get what I'm saying? That's where my shutdown come in. Like, listen, I'm going to hang up the phone. I'll talk to you later. Give you time to calm down. Give me time to calm down. So when we do talk back, we have cooler heads, and now you can comprehend what I'm saying. I definitely could comprehend what you said. Yep. That's my form of shutting down.
But this is what I learned, OG. Do you communicate that? Do you say
that? I haven't expressed that on mine.
I'm going to give you
Yep.
Look, let's take a step back.
Yep, that's my point.
Because see, when you just step back without saying anything, I've learned that really makes the situation worse.
You're
That's my
absolutely
problem. That was my problem
100%
right there.
correct.
Yep.
You make it
I have
worse.
expressed this on several occasions. This is why I do that.
Right.
I do that because I'm trying to calm the situation down. I can't hear you, you can't hear me.
Right.
So I've expressed that.
Right.
So now if I express that to you, I feel like that should be an understanding to where either we're going to be two grown people and we're going to talk.
Yeah.
But I do understand that some situations may escalate depending on what it is, and I get that. Yeah. But if it gets to this point where we're doing all this yelling, I got to yell and try to talk over you, you got to yell and try to talk over me. Listen, man, I ain't got the heart no more.
Right.
My heart, I ain't got the lungs for all that no more. So I'm going to just shut it down. You might call me back a couple times. I ain't for the answer because we're going to go right back to yelling.
That's the wrong thing to do to a woman.
Yeah, but we're going to go right back to yelling. You know
right.
what I'm saying? So,
but it makes it worse.
That's my narcissism.
By not answering though, it just escalates.
You're right, and that's my narcissism.
It's a win. It's a lose-lose.
It's a lose-lose. It's a win-lose-lose. I'm just leaving it at that. It's a win-lose-lose.
I get that.
Because at the end, if you understand the logic, then you can respect it. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna calm down with him, and then we'll talk to where when we get back on the phone, we can actually talk about it. We got calmer heads now. Then we can start to rationalize everything and put everything in perspective.
Yeah.
Handle it, deal with it, and move on.
Absolutely. What's
just a couple more things. Twisting. This was major.
Ooh.
This was major in my marriage.
Man, y'all sure that narcissism is just for men?
Yeah.
Ain't no.
I mean,
it goes both ways.
First of all, I didn't say no gender.
No, I know, but no. My brother, which we have researched, that narcissist, the percentage of it,
it's in men.
It's in men.
But look,
my facts don't say men.
That's what you gotta ask yourself.
Yeah.
What these percentages are about? Are they in the black community doing testing and researching on us?
That's a good point. No,
so I would never just basically go.
Remember I said that about the numbers,
the percentages.
But
you know what I'm saying.
But I do just my experiences though. If I compare it to the numbers, I can honestly say that I ran across more narcissistic men.
Oh yeah, because we take account for what.
Because women are natural nurturers. They, like I said, they have to develop that. They have to grow up a certain way to be that way.
But how are our generation of women these days?
They didn't grow up with their fathers just like us.
Narcissism comes from the mothers.
So
hold on, say that again.
Narcissism comes from the mothers.
Is that genetically, or are you talking about
the men that are narcissistic in their ways? Comes from the mother.
Yes.
I wanted a woman to say that.
I researched that myself.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So mothers have made
women in our
these guys narcissistic.
Savages.
Look it up.
No. You're exactly right. And I'm glad you said that because me and OG done talked about this. OG, you
even
tried to touch on it a couple of shows ago.
Well, I said, I'm glad she said. I didn't want to say it. Everybody killed me.
But that's the truth. I mean, when I was looking at you know, when you have these men, my ex, that used to rip and run and do everything possible for his mama. And I was just like, are you his son or his man?
Yeah.
It'd be like that.
Trying to hold on to the son for themselves.
It'd be like that.
Don't want the son to have a mate.
Yep.
Get mad when the mate come into the picture. All that, when I tell you, it was an eye opener for me when I read that today.
You was married or dealing with, you was basically in a relationship with him and his mom. Right?
Oh yeah. Oh, she was mad with me. She didn't like me. Period.
Of course, you taking her back.
No, her man.
Yeah, true. Correct.
Because that is the role that she put him in. Yeah. And when I was reading, I was like, it said that they deep down they hate their moms for that. And they have a love-hate relationship that I've experienced in that marriage because one day they own and they fine. Next they ain't talking for 2-3 years. The next thing you know, they good again. They have a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
Yes. Because of what the pressures that she put on him. Yeah. Then he goes and looks for women that he can control. So I'm telling you, it's what's documented.
No, that's
these men are becoming this way due to their mothers.
And the numbers are rising.
I didn't see nothing about fathers in that. Not one.
Fathers ain't there.
That's what kind of
Shit,
threw me a loop when they said, it threw me a loop. But then, like, again, when I researched it, I had to say, okay, now I can understand it. Because when they say the percentage is higher in men, when you first see that, you be like, well, damn, what you trying to say? Just all men are narcissists? But like how, you know, we see where it stems from, where it comes from. And I ain't bashing women. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, like DJ was saying, by stemming from women, a lot of times, I don't think, I guess mothers don't realize the negative that they're instilling into their kids. Elaborate. They just don't. I mean, it could be from anything.
Talking about taking the titty out the mouth.
Man, taking the titty out the mouth could be from anything. I don't think they rationalize the negative that they're portraying. They just don't. Because they feel everything that they're doing is positive. Which what they don't realize, a lot of things that you're doing in hindsight are really negative.
You know, I know why. There's a fine line between taking care of a child and raising a child.
Yes.
And people don't realize that.
Yeah. But they go from raising to taking care. Yeah. But in their mind, they still thinking they're raising. Right. But you know, once this boy get 18, you taking care of him now. Oh, he got to be a man.
He has the ability to go to work.
He has to be a man.
Making manly decisions. He got a baby. All that.
Well, let me finish this. So the twisting part, and this is also I've experienced. So the twisting part is when you go to the person about something they did or said, and they point it back around to you to make you feel like, well, you're the reason or the cause of me doing this to make you feel that way. So if I come to you and I say, you know what, you made me feel this, or I'm not getting this from you, or I feel a certain type of way about this scenario or situation.
And I say, basically, 2 months ago, you didn't do this.
Or you'll say, well, you feel that way because you did X, Y, Z, or didn't do, which made me react a certain way. So really, it's your fault you feel that way. And see, we have to be careful with that because you got to be careful with that because you cannot, I'm not saying necessarily blame the person, but you have to understand where the person is coming from because your words and actions may have an effect on your spouse and you not know it, right? And they could be going through something, maybe so, maybe not. But if I come to you and say you made me feel a certain way, validate my feelings.
Right. I can't tell you how to feel.
You can't tell me how I feel. You can't tell me I'm wrong.
Right.
Because if I made you feel that way, I cannot tell you that you are wrong. I have to look at what I did or did not do. And what we don't do enough of is validating. If I come to you and tell you something, validate what I'm saying. I heard you say, da-da-da-da. Okay, so this made you feel a certain, I apologize, that mean to make you feel that way, whatever the case is. But we don't validate enough. And narcissistic behavior, they're not going to validate anything because they don't want to take responsibility for anything.
Twisted.
They don't want guilt for anything. And they don't want to be made to look bad. Yep. That's one of the main things about NPD. You are not going to make me look bad in the house with me and you, and definitely not out there. Right? So another thing, like 2 more things. Manipulation. They love to manipulate. Okay? I don't know if y'all understand how thick that is. That's thick. Manipulation is big with narcissism.
Yeah, that's the number one weapon. Man.
Yeah. And then the last thing was the victim. Oh my goodness. They play the victim all the time. Yep. And that goes back to the twisting part. All that goes into it together, you know. So if I'm twisting it back on you, then I'm playing the victim because you really made yourself feel that way because you did this to me first. Right. You're the victim. Right. So yeah.
All those, man. Again, for me, I can attest because I experienced it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm definitely experienced it.
Me too.
But I'm gonna say this. I'm
guilty of some of them, to be honest with you.
We all are.
Yeah. We all are. Yeah. It just depends on what level.
Absolutely.
But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this to you, Deagle, because I think we similar, and what we were trying to explain to you earlier, just to touch back on it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
What we were trying to explain is to show you the difference.
Mhm.
But for you, I feel that it was so detrimental.
Mhm.
All you can see is MPD.
Mhm.
That's why people ask that question.
Because that's what you experience.
Yep.
So it's hard for you to see the other side of narcissism
Mhm.
because of what you was beat with.
Mhm.
So like for me, I dealt with a person with MPD. They don't want to admit it, it was MPD.
Mhm.
But I also, again, as you know, I take my time to always maneuver through things. I realized, like again, through the research with this show has helped me through looking through stuff that there's different layers to narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I had to understand, okay, I have some form of narcissism myself.
Absolutely.
But I realized there's just different levels. There's, like I said, I always use that word productive, unproductive, because there are productive narcissists out there. There are.
Mm-hmm.
However we want to chop it up, there are.
And you're going to make sacrifices.
You're going to make sacrifices. You got to make sacrifices. Anybody is going into, again, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, trust me, in order for you to be great, in order to build your business to get to a certain level, you're going to show some narcissistic traits, some narcissistic tendencies, because you have to. Because you got to indulge yourself. You got to become self-centered with that business. You got to become, if you want to say one, you got to whoever knock out everybody else on the outside. You got to go hard in the paint for that business. But that's why I'm just saying, what you dealt and experienced was detriment, was a disorder. So I get how it's hard for you to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But we just also want you to understand there's also another side.
I mean, I understand it better. I don't know if I accept it totally, but the way y'all broke it down, I do understand it better. I can see it better than I did before.
What's gonna make it just go complete full circle for you is when you personally deal with what we're talking about. Like when you have that significant other that shows you exactly what we're talking about, where you know, maybe he missed a couple of family dinners, or he missed that, you know, whatever the case was, I missed the outing because I'm making the family some money. Mm-hmm. But it's not benefiting just him. He's doing it to benefit his surroundings.
I get it.
So that's why I'll just say before we close, I'll get to the audience. We'll see what they got to say. That's all I was saying as well. Just making sure that we understood, like, hey, anything can be a positive or negative. And I know me. I say all the time, I'm positive Paul. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to walk into any situation,
Paulie,
and I'm going to say, how can I bring a positive out of this? I don't care what it is. How can I bring a positive out of this? Because we all know that stress ain't nothing but a cancer. It's the purest form of cancer, that is, because anybody can get it. Any living organism can get it. So my thing is me just doing, doing research and all this. The one common word I always see when I'm dealing with researching medical things is stress. That's under every single medical condition. So I feel like when we talk about this word, narcissism, that's why I say when you talk about it from a negative light, that is so true. But you can also look at it from that positive side and say, you know what? I've got plenty of examples. From all the way to Albert Einstein to Kobe, whoever you want to say, Ray Charles, anybody that was great at something. You're going to make those sacrifices, and you're going to put yourself before your surroundings because you know in your head, like, I have to do this. Like I gave you that example about you going home that day and you like, forget about this. It's been some days where you were like, y'all go ahead and fix y'all little hot pocket.
Not a hot pocket.
I'm gonna be in here. Hey, go on, get your little hot pocket and a little sandwich or something. And that's all I'm saying. That was that trait in you that said, you know what? I ain't finna be no teacher just walking around here half-assing the job, just getting through the year. I'm going to stand out. So you didn't. When you said I'm gonna stand out, you didn't say I'm standing out for that award you got. You stood out because you cared about your appearance, not talking about cosmetic appearance, your career appearance. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying. So y'all chime in, let us know. We got anything on the audience?
We got Miss Monique said she can attest to everything Miss Diva J is saying. You know the ladies gonna rock with Diva J.
I mean, hey, that's exactly
given. That's how it's
That's
supposed to be. You know what I'm
experience.
saying? You know our brother Jonathan in the building.
Jonathan,
He said OG helped him understand the trait versus the disorder.
yes.
The trait don't make you a narcissist.
Right.
The disorder
Right,
makes you a
right,
narcissist.
right.
It's a sickness.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Right,
it's a
right, right.
sickness.
Yeah, it is.
And Miss Tamiko Fennell, how you
What's
doing?
happening? How you doing? How you doing?
She said communication and understanding is definitely the key.
It is.
And it's mostly men.
It is.
We
ain't even gonna go back and forth.
Ding, ding, ding.
We ain't even gonna go back and forth with y'all.
But you know what? We take accountability.
Yeah, she right.
So we cool.
She's
Cool
exactly
with it,
right.
man. Cool with it.
All right, so we got to a little common ground here, and that's really what this show is about. That's why we call it Narcissism Part 2. We just want to thank you for chiming in, tuning in. Anything that you do to support us, we want to thank you. So remember, we do have the social medias as well. You can go there, follow us, Facebook, Comfortably Uncomfortable. That is uncomfortable with a K. Change the C to a K for the new followers. That is IG at Comfortably Uncomfortable, spelled the same way. And the YouTube is Comfortably Uncomfortable as well. You'll see us post, and you'll see the links in there. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube, because that's what we're trying to migrate to, and the IG as well, so we can go ahead and run them numbers up as well. Clearing our throats. Anything else we got to say about tonight, the subject? Just going around the room real quick before we close this thing out.
No, I'm good.
Get to our flowers.
No,
Good.
I'm good.
All right, so get to our flowers. I guess I'll pop it off. Y'all got y'all flowers? Good. All right. My flowers today will go to a gentleman named Brady Whaley. He is one of my best friends, his dad. And Mr. Whaley, I met him in 8th grade. And I'll tell you, this man, I didn't have like that father figure growing up. And he was, when you don't have that, you got to go collect those figures from different people. Maybe the dope man in the hood, maybe, whatever. You just got to take those and you got to, mold yourself. And he was one of the men that I molded myself from. And he probably don't even know this, but I watched him from afar every time I was at the house. I just watched how he operate, how he always calmly handles situations and approach situations, never raises his voice. He's just the epitome of bringing logic to a situation. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I learned that from. I always used to be like, dang, I think I told this story. Why am I so emotional? Why am I going back and forth with these women? Why can't I keep a chick? Why? It was because I'm acting just like my mom, or a chick. I don't even want to put I'm acting just like a woman. And that's no disrespect, y'all, but I'm acting emotional. And that's how men are supposed to act. And he taught me that. So Brady Whaley, I thank you, man. I want to give you your flowers while you're here, man. I appreciate every single thing you've instilled in me without even knowing. So I appreciate you, man. I love you, man.
I think that should be a topic, because I think men need to be more emotional.
Absolutely, yes.
They need more emotional.
Well, we need to cry
more
more.
in touch with their feelings.
Cry more, because what I say, how in the world we expect to be with y'all for a lifetime if I can't tap into something you're built off of?
Yeah.
It's in me.
The issue is a lot of women don't know how to receive a man like that.
We talked about that too, though. Remember we talked about that.
So
What did I say? The good guy never wins.
So
I just
a man that
reposted that.
tried to express that is hard, because he may be with a woman that just don't understand it.
Yeah.
Because she didn't have that man to look at.
And a man that's like that comes from his childhood.
Yeah,
He's been like that. There's a lot of things going on with
Or he chose to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
He just want to be a better person.
Yeah.
He knows that communication, expressing how he feels, is what's going to get them ahead.
Yeah.
Most can't comprehend that. Not just women, just
both.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Especially if that man gets with a hard
right.
woman, she's not gonna understand that emotional side either.
Nah,
so it takes both to understand.
Look at it as weakness.
It ain't necessarily gotta be a hard woman. Just some women don't know how to receive a man that is tapped in that way. They can look at his weakness.
He's different.
He's soft.
Different.
he too emotional.
No,
but I'm serious.
No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that women don't. I'm saying that for me, I
agree with.
No, because I want a man who's masculine, of course, but I still want him to have an emotional side. So when
he's strong enough to cry in front of you.
Cry, just whatever he's feeling, I don't want him to suppress it.
Exactly. You heard what I said. Strong enough to cry in front of you.
Yeah.
It takes strength to show that type of emotion and be that vulnerable with anybody.
Yeah, because that's what it is, the vulnerability.
And you have to trust a person to be
vulnerable. Walls down for a person like that.
Yeah. Sometimes that take a while.
Yeah, if you don't trust the person you're vulnerable with, or to be vulnerable.
You're not going to be vulnerable if you don't trust them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, my flowers tonight, I did a business spotlight on her, I think 2 shows ago, with Diva's mentoring program that is available at my school and schools around Rockdale County. But I just wanted to give the founder, Felicia Frayall, a shout out because what she's doing is phenomenal with these girls. Just girls being able to have an outlet to talk about things that they're going through. High school is middle school too. High school is a very difficult time for teenage girls in regards to depression, in regards to being accepted, in regards to popularity, relationships, friendships. And so Divas gives those girls an outlet. So I just wanted to give her a shout out for the program that she actually created, because it's really helping girls to have a voice and to get some insight, because when we have meetings with the girls, they can talk freely. We can give them advice because we done been through it, even though just because we're older, teenagers think that we have not experienced these things, but we really have, and we can help them get through it even when they're having a bad day, to have a mentor to go to let it out, so they don't get into a fight with somebody that looked at them wrong. Don't cuss a teacher out, because students will do that.
Learn how to channel them emotions.
You have to channel it, and they have to love themselves. That's another thing that we probably should have a topic on as well, is self-love, because these girls are going through different things at home and they don't know how to love themselves, and they get in these toxic relationships. So Divas is a platform for girls to be able to learn and to grow and to channel that energy. And I want to shout her out because the program that she came up with is phenomenal. So I just want to thank you, Felicia, for all that you're doing, because you are impacting these girls' lives in a positive way and using us as stewards to navigate with you through this thing called life, to get these girls to be better. Because we have to start now. Because some of these girls aren't getting it at home, but they can get it through Divas. So I thank you for that. You're doing a phenomenal job. Keep up the great work. And I'm so glad to be a part of your organization.
Felicia, appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Again, mine goes to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Also, I can't remember that far, but because I kind of remember, I think I did it jointly. I didn't do it separately. So I think I want to do it separately tonight. My flower goes to my dad. Man, as I maneuver through this thing called life, and especially things that I've been going through, I guess sometimes you don't realize certain things till you get to a certain point. So, it's a lot that your parents try to talk to you about or teach you or show you, to where when you maybe 13, 14, you don't get it. But when you get 22, 23 or beyond, it starts to resonate, and the older you get, it starts to really dig into you.
True.
Dad, I just want to say thank you, man. Just the things that we've talked about, things that you showed me from afar, things that you think that I wasn't paying attention to, that I was paying attention to. It has really come full circle. It has really allowed me and kind of helped me move through things that I've been going through, experiencing. Even now today, even with a lot with him has changed in his outlook, which I still peep and it resonated with me because, you know, it's like some things I can be on 30 on, you know, and just be like, man, just calm down. You know what I'm saying? So,
he hasn't stopped being a parent.
yeah, you know, I thank you for that, Dad. I appreciate you, man, and you know I adore you. Even though we don't talk every day, know that I do love you, and know that, you know what I'm saying, you are my calm. You are my calm. So I appreciate you.
If you OG, that's triple OG then.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
triple
Yeah.
OG.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, love you, man. Love you.
Good deal.
We will wrap this thing up. We've cleared our throats. We will be back, y'all, the 24th of this month, same time. You'll see the post. You'll see some things come up, probably with the topic or whatever, because we'll probably try to start getting that to y'all sooner. But just to go back around, any other issues, any other concerns before we close out?
I'm good.
All right. So as always, I'm gonna end the show like this from now on. We're gonna seek growth. But something you just said with Miss Felicia, she needs to tell these girls this too. Be you, love you. And we'll see you next time.
Well, you know what? Hold up. Before we end this.
Oh, that was it.
Y'all thought it was it.
Hold on. My bad, bro. We didn't hit you with the flower.
Yeah, I got
my bad,
flowers.
Oh, go ahead.
My bad.
Last minute, man. Tomorrow is 11/11.
Oh, I ain't even remember that.
That's
I was gonna hit y'all.
Those are angel numbers. Those are
Shine,
angel
shine.
numbers. You know, that's a number of manifestation. So no matter throughout tomorrow, just whatever you want to do, you've been thinking about doing, you have a desire to do, manifest that tomorrow.
Okay.
And I would love to get some flowers to my damn self.
I know that's
Just the show is on narcissism.
You want to show
a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? You know, there's a lot of people that help me along my way, but I got to give it to myself.
Yeah.
Because my lady reminded me the other day that no matter what I went through a lot. Talk about my sister committing suicide.
Yeah.
My grandfather dying while I'm on vacation out the country. You know, and during the time where I was at my lowest, the world changed. And I came up out of that on top of everything. And inspired others and helped others along the way, still doing it.
I'm about to say, they ain't gonna never stop.
That's
your job now.
That's my purpose.
That's
I realize that's my purpose.
That's your job now, brother. You can't stop.
Yep.
So,
and you know how you have the little man on one shoulder, the other. You know.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
That narcissism in me, the positive, appreciates when they agree. It's like, you know
Which is rare.
Which is rare.
Yeah.
Which is rare.
When you had a long day, you've been going hard. I'm talking about left and right. You're doing for your family. You're doing for your business. You got a job. You're doing this, that, and the third. And you want to take a break. You feel like you can't afford to take a break.
Yeah, we just talking about
but that little man on both shoulders, they were like, you know what?
You deserve it.
You deserve it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Stop. That's when the world stops.
Yeah.
And spend time with people you care about.
Right.
Balance.
Right, absolutely.
That's all it's about, balance. Man. So I want to encourage everyone, whatever it is you want to do, man, 2022 is the year of the entrepreneurs.
Yep, and he said 11/11 tomorrow, manifest your dream.
Stay positive throughout the whole entire day.
Yep. Manifest your dream. Write a business plan out. Whatever you got to do, like he said, manifest it, put something in the works, get that ball rolling, and do the first step to becoming an entrepreneur.
Right.
All right.
Be
you, love you. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. You have a good night.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, that was how long was that video?
It's only this hour and a half.
Hour and 24 minutes.
Oh,
It's not bad. We ain't go over too bad.
I could have got my little segment.